all, warm good morning to everybody and welcome to this wonderful event organized by SME Connect. I'm one of the forebearers of networking events and I'm very happy to be part of this on this occasion. The topic that I've been given was leadership, and we all know the value of a successful venture is through leadership. So I would like to touch upon some of those topics. The picture here I've tried to use more of pictures to make it more self-explanatory. The role, how do you differentiate between a boss and a leader? A leader is right in the front, and the boss is sitting on the head. So that is how we begin, my dear friends. If you're expecting something from your team, please be there right ahead of them, not behind them or sitting on top of their heads. That's, if let's take an example of setting up targets. When you look at setting up business targets, essentially you know the scope of your business the best. You're a CEO, you're the business owner, you're the top management. You know you have set up a business, you must have done some research and then gotten into the business. You're expecting your employees to perform. Now when you're doing that, what is the scope? For an example, let's look at that 10% ratio. How many of us are following that when I have 100 inquiries, 10% are going to be serious. Out of the 10, I'm going to have another 10% which are going to convert into business. So are we doing that for ourselves internally? The 10% benchmarking, which is very common. Now, typically the idea is not to scare away the employee by this kind of a pyramid structure where the CEO is on the top, then we have our levels of designations, and then you have the hardworking employee at the bottom, whom he doesn't know. He may have a genuine reason. He is the floor guy. He is the one talking to your customers. He may have some excellent suggestions, but in between the process, it's just getting cut off. So how are you able to reach out to them? That is the environment you need to build. The employee should not consider this, he should say, he may have an idea and get demotivated and say, no thanks, I'm not going to the CEO and give him this idea. If he's not interested in me, why should I go and tell him anything? That kind of a culture is what to be avoided. This again, what I've spoken about, the 10% conversion rate. Be very clear on what is your target setting. Work towards getting those many number of inquiries. Finally, eventually, if you have to get that one sale, just work backwards and see how many, use that filter mechanism. How many, for example, a training institute, let's take, which is into a specialized training. The conversion may be higher if let's say they go targeting, say schools and colleges, they're targeting students. So whom are they, who's their target audience? So they have identified the right target audience, perhaps the young crowd. So they are available mostly, they are employed somewhere, so you look at those youth hostels or schools and colleges and you are offering them a specialized training. So how many people have you reached out to? How many people have you communicated to that you're in this business? Let's say 100. How many will convert into a walk-in into your institute? It's 10%, 10. Out of that, how many will convert into good business? If you are a very specialized institute, the percentage might be higher, may go to 20, 30, 40, even 50%. But on an average, it's 10%. So that is the benchmark. So when you're planning, guide your team to give a target of reaching out to 1 lakh people. That way, maybe you can get 10% of 1 lakh walk-ins, 10% of that percentage your conversions. Otherwise, what I'm trying to tell you is go with a very studied approach rather than just being very ad hoc on your target settings. So plan a clear roadmap to achieve your targets. Very essential. If you want to bring in that seriousness, if you want that inclusiveness from the employees, lead from the front. Again, great leaders don't tell you what to do, they show you how it is done. So you have actually set the path in motion and you're just asking them to follow. Essentially, yes, a very important point here, you are the leader. And then you have your team which is supposed to follow you. We need perhaps 1 or 2 good leaders, and then we need good followers. People are by and large good followers who join us. They're waiting to be guided. So be that force which is guiding. Important thing on HR is delegation. Very often we just tell out our plan. We just rattle it out. We don't realize we are in between some work, and then we call that person. We remember, okay, this work has to be given to this guy. Come, please do this, and da da da. Da. As he said in our gentleman before, he will use it to his advantage. He said, I was asked to do ABC, but no, I asked you to do XYZ. So this kind of a miscommunication is the first thing that happens when you're delegating. So have a very tight script beforehand. How? Make a stepwise process of what you're expecting to be done. Go down, if required, to the understanding of that person's intelligence. You're the leader, remember, and they are the followers. The vision that you have has to be translated to the level of understanding of the follower. He understands it differently. So please test understand by asking questions on where he is right now on that topic, particular topic. Explain to that him step by step, repeat. Generally, we leaders have very less patience and we don't like to repeat. But it works, especially in delegation, to repeat. Be patient. Have lot of patience with your team. Because if they have to deliver, they have to fully understand. If they have not understood, they cannot go where you want them to go. Be patient, be ready to listen to their doubts, encourage, be in complete control. Go back to the first step. Start with first identify and make it into steps. Break that process into steps. Go step by step. Keep asking them questions. Be patiently wait for them to see whether they have really got the idea of what you're trying to communicate to them. Then inspect. Now let them go live. Tell them, okay, now implement this and come back to me with what you have done. So basically we again call them back or go to their place. Reach out. They may be sitting on the floor, they may be talking to customers. Sit with them, become comfortable. It's not necessarily that they have to come to your cabin. It's very important that the leader is on the floor to know what's happening, what's going on at the floor. Please be there at the floor, sit with him, understand how he is coping up with the challenge. In fact, in technology that we talk of, there is this access to the management, what is happening at the call center level. All the calls are recorded for future purposes. They become a training zone. So we have technology even now in cloud. I mean, for a small business, you have a CRM. It is Nolarity, I think, or you have this cloud telephony where you have your online receptionist, where all your calls, you can sit down end of the day and hear the conversations. That facility is being given to a small business today, thanks to the advancement in technology, in cloud technology. Please utilize that. You know exactly what your staff is talking to your customers, because finally that interaction is where your growth is. The interaction between your the client and your front end customer. Most of the times we lose patience and we show our anger. Please use it only as a tool. Anger is just a tool. It's to show your displeasure to that person, but not be really angry. When you're really angry, we are also humans, yes, we get angry. perhaps, we should just not, we should just say, okay, I'll come back to you and we'll discuss it later. Postpone that thought, but perhaps be on a very cool head when you're dealing with challenges, especially motivating the team. Most often and not, we know that customer is the king, but how many of us actually take that extra effort to talk to him? Now, talk to them maybe once a year. Is that what it is? Maybe when there is a festival, we greet them perhaps, and that's it. There have been many WhatsApp jokes now about somebody, New Year greeting, where somebody sent a message that I got stuck in an accident and I require your help. And the reply that he received was, wish you a happy New Year to you and thanks for the wishes. So this is how obsolete, while wishing is important, while being touched, I'm not talking in that perspective. I'm talking from the feedback perspective. When you talk of the third point which I have is take feedbacks on a regular basis. Customers are the only way who are going to guide us forward, show us our path, our growth. If growth is your ambition, customer feedback is important. They go hand in hand. We cannot ignore talking to our customers. The only way to grow is by taking regular feedbacks. I will suggest have multiple levels of feedback. The first level from the floor executive level, second from a little senior person. And if the feedback is not coming back anything less than good or excellent, please step in, know what exactly has happened, and you don't have to directly talk to the customer maybe at the top management level, but have a mechanism where you know what the customer is thinking. Now, I was given this example of Ford Motors way back. They had this, Ford being what they are today, they owe a lot to their to the new features that they have added in their cars. Way back, the first feature that was one of the few early features was the dicky, and they realized there were people hired to take customer feedback, maybe sometimes with the knowledge of the customer and his consent, and sometimes without his knowledge. They would there was a story of two employees just hiding behind the store, Walmart, and to observe how the car parking, how people get into the car and get out of the car, and how their behavior inside the store and after coming out of the store. They realized a young mother with a child and her shopping cart, and she trying to manage everything together and put all her stuff inside. So that is when they realized the dicky does not close by itself. So then that small thing of having a handle, a stand on the dicky, so that she can conveniently dump her stuff inside the car. So this was an observation made by employees of Ford Motors. They were hired only to observe and improvise on their product or a service. So innovation comes from here. The origin of innovation is customer observation. So many times please don't be in the mindset, okay, did you get the money? Has the money been received? Job done. Okay, we'll look at new customer. How will you retain your old customers? How will you improvise on your service and products? Unless we talk to them. So have a mechanism, a feedback process, maybe a formal feedback to them, maybe a very informal feedback, but definitely please keep it on your agenda. We feel many a times we have many questions to ask. We want many answers to get. And we are not very confident talking to our own peer group or within our own network. So a formal networking event is one which openly allows you to discuss your problem, get an answer, and more than that, you build a very strong relationship. The culture of having a relationship comes in through formal networking. So please be part of how many ever that you could attend. Maybe a good leader is spending 50% of his time on the desk, and remaining 50% he is supposed to go network, learn, because learning happens through networking. Sharing happens through networking. It's so amazing how people come forward and offer to help. Please utilize that. The growth of Silicon Valley today is only because of their formal networking events. If there is a Facebook which came out or a Google which came out of Silicon Valley or all these top-notch companies, they owe it all to networking. Please feel very secure. Of course, don't give away that one or two secrets of how you're doing your stuff. But apart from that, please be willing to share. The more you share, the more you gain. Especially for a small business to grow from here to the next level, this is a wonderful opportunity. In any networking in your city, please make use of it. If you feel networking, there are many Google groups, join those. There are many formal networking events on internet. Quora is one. You ask questions, they answer. Plus, but please be around everywhere. Please be visible. So, and with this, and I would like to end this session and would be waiting to take any question answers.